Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a fun one because we are going to be playing with some Beauty Bay goodies. They recently reached out and asked if they could send me some goodies, and of course I said yes. I really enjoy the Beauty Bay 42 Matte Bright palette. I use that for quite a lot of my looks, so of course I was really excited when they reached out, and I thought I would do a little review because I haven't really tried any of their like shimmer formulas or any of their other eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, if you're wondering why I sound different, I did test positive for COVID-19. Great. I caught it at my wedding. Actually, we are married. I'm wearing my wedding band because it's just way more comfortable than my engagement ring. My wedding band is just literally, like, we got it off Amazon for like $15 because I wanted to get a custom wedding band, but then we didn't have time, but we needed a wedding band still. So yeah, we just got it off Amazon. Super comfy. And yeah, we caught COVID at our wedding. Pretty much the entire bridal party has it unless they've had it like recently. So I'm off work, I'm in isolation for a little bit, and everything just seems to be going wrong. We had literally the worst wedding day. Not like little things that went wrong. Well, there still was that. Like my dress is bunched up in all of the photos, and like the music didn't start playing when I was walking down the aisle. I pretty much walked halfway down in silence. Just stuff like that. But like there was a lot of big things that happened before and during our reception. It was like a cocktail hour, and I don't really want to go into it, I'll be honest, because a lot of it is, you know, private and not really my place to share. A lot of it's health related, and if I talk about it, I'm probably gonna cry. It's been hard to come to terms with the fact that like my only wedding ceremony went so incredibly wrong, and yeah, I've just been sad about it. We also had to push back our honeymoon again with these health related issues that we were faced with. So yeah, we've pushed off our honeymoon, so we've been having a homey moon where we just stay at home for a week, and then it kind of worked out that we got COVID as well, so probably best that we didn't go. So yeah, maybe when things aren't so fresh I'll talk about it. We got married only 6 days ago. I'm just not ready to discuss it yet, but we did get married. We did go ahead and go through with it. So I'm trying to film to distract myself a little bit, plus it feels good to talk to you guys. I haven't filmed in like 2.5 weeks just because I was so busy with like work and wedding planning and stuff. What I did get in the mail is the Beauty Bay and collaboration, here, maybe I'll hold it up right. It's a 42 pan palette. It's in collaboration with Jade. Jade, who I don't really know. I don't really know her. Let me see if I can find her last name. I wish they like put her last name. Okay, so her name is Jade Thirwall. I've never heard of her. That being said, I'm not like super into discovering new influencers. So I'm just kind of like, you know, I mean, she has 8.6 million followers, so that's a lot of people. She's beautiful, and she does really pretty makeup as well. There's her with Nikki Tutorials. I can't believe I've never heard of her. That's so interesting. Anyway, yeah, so I got her collaboration. It's very like space themed and like galaxy and universe themed, and I really think it's so beautiful with all of those colors. A lot of them are very unique as well. I tried to do like a duping video with my ColourPop shadows, but honestly 42 dupes, it was gonna be too much. And then on top of that, I just didn't have a lot of dupes for a lot of the shades. Like I got to this row and I was like, oh, I have like nothing to dupe these. So I figured I would just skip the duping process and I'd just do swatches instead because it is such a large palette. I feel like the video would just be so long if I did dupes. They also sent me a little brush set that I think I'm gonna use in my kit, but I kind of want to test on myself first. I do testing with products before I put them in my kit. Not as much with brushes though, just because, you know, like as long as they're soft, I feel like it's fine. But I do want to test these out. I don't know, they just look fun. I like new brushes. And then I have this liquid eyeliner, I think it is. Yeah, felt tip liquid liner. I'm excited to play with that. And then we have some fake lashes to try. Oh, I'm out of breath. COVID hasn't been too bad to me. It just feels like kind of like a light cold. It's not too bad. For me anyway, like I'm not downplaying it at all. I am, you know, vaccinated and I have my booster, so thank goodness. So yeah, anyway, I guess let's just get into it. I'm going to maybe do an eye look first, or maybe I'll do swatches first. Yeah, let's start with swatches first. Let's get into the swatches. Okay, I'm really gonna roll up my sleeve for this one because this palette is massive. So going from left to right by rows, we have this first shade, which is a matte. It's called Good Vibes Only, and Beauty Bay describes this one as a dusty beige matte. It's a little darker than my skin tone, but I'm not sure how well it's gonna pick up on camera. There, I zoomed you in a little more so you could see. Next up we have the shade Tarot, and Beauty Bay describes this one as a burnt orange matte. Next up we have the shade Dawn, and this is described as a bright orange matte. Then we have the shade Red Planet, and this one is described as a red matte. Imagine that. Then we have the shade Space Jam, and this one is described as a red-orange matte. This one's pretty neon. Then we have the shade What's Your Sign, Hun? And this one is described as a copper with gold shimmer, and I'm not sure if the gold shimmer will really pick up on camera in a swatch, but it is really quite prevalent. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. I really hope so, because it's like really, really prominent in the shade. I tried duping the first row and I had a really hard time duping this one with anything but like a Super Shock shadow. So that's kind of what it feels like. It's super creamy and has a lot of sparkle. And lastly, in this row, we have the shade Angel of the North, which Beauty Bay describes as a burgundy matte. So that is the first row, and it's a very red-orange toned, warm set of colors. Okay, so from left to right in the second row, we have the shade Halo, and this one is described as a nude shimmer. Kind of has like a little pink to it. It is so incredibly creamy and reflective. I can't even describe it. It kind of feels like, you know how Morphe shimmers in the Jaclyn Hill palette are just really, really creamy? Feels very similar to a shadow in there. Then we have the shade 2222, which is described as a lime matte yellow. I'm kind of annoyed because everyone's saying that 22 and 2 is their number, when really it's been my number for like the longest time. Just feel like everyone's copying me, you know? I know they're not, but that's my number, you know? Then we have the shade Sand Dancer, and this is described as a yellow shimmer. The formula on this one is pretty subpar and crumbly, I'll be honest. I know yellows are hard to do though, so not my favorite, but still pretty. Next up we have the shade Affirmation, and this one is described as a tan matte. Then we have the shade Milky Way, which is described as a white/pink shimmer. It is more of a duochrome shade. This one is really crumbly as well, but I find that to be common among shades like this. None of them are super smooth and creamy, like ever. So yeah, it's a pretty standard formula for this color. Next up we have like my favorite color. This is the shade Ethereal, and it is described as a pale lilac. It's a matte shade, so beautiful. I love, love, love this color. And finally for this row, we have the shade Natural Beauty, which is described as a peach matte. It's a really pretty peach, kind of almost coral, very springtime appropriate. I feel like this is like the springtime row. Love it. Going from left to right in the third row, we have the shade Soulmate, and this is described as a deep purple matte. I wouldn't even say it's that deep. It is really beautiful though. Next up, we have the shade Galactic, which is described as a purple shimmer. Super pretty. Next up, we have the shade Daydreamer, which is a lilac matte. It is different from Ethereal. Ethereal is more pale and has a little more pink to it. So this is the shade Ethereal, and then this is the shade Daydreamer. You can really see the difference when they're side by side. Then we have the shade Alien, and Beauty Bay describes this as a gold shimmer. So, so pretty. Really creamy formula as well. Then we have the shade Retrograde, which is described as a bright pink matte. Then we have the shade Rose Quartz, which is described as a peachy pink shimmer. And last in the row, we have the shade Love Aura, which is described as a bright pink shimmer. And that is the third row. Halfway there. Going left to right in the fourth row, we first have the shade Starry Eyed, which is described as a light brown shimmer. Then we have the shade Intention, which is described as a cool nude matte. I'm gonna compare all three of the light cream shades. I think they're a bit redundant, honestly, but we still have one more to go, so I'll compare all the three once I get to the third one. Then we have the shade Confetti, which is described as a silver shimmer. It is quite creamy to the point where it's almost crumbly. It's a nice shade. I just think it would be like Fallout City, honestly. Then we have the shade Northern Star, which is described as a royal blue matte. And then we have the shade Sunshine Skin, which is described as a copper shimmer. Super pretty. I never know how to pronounce this name. We have the shade Nefertiti, and it is a brown matte. This one was incredibly creamy. So, so beautiful. And lastly in this row, we have the shade Heritage, which is also described as a brown shimmer. Heritage has a bit more rose, and it's also a little bit deeper than the first shade, which was Starry Eyed. Going from left to right in the fifth row, we have the shade Capricorn, which is described as a deep brown matte. And then we have the shade Zodiac, which is described as a deep teal shimmer. That one's so pretty. And then we have the shade Head in the Clouds, which is described as a pastel blue matte. I'm really impressed with how the neon shades and the pastels have been performing so far. Then we have the shade Horizon, which is described as a bronze shimmer. I'm going to quickly compare the shade Horizon, Heritage, and Starry Eyed. So here's the shade Horizon, and this is the shade Starry Eyed, and then we have Heritage. These two do look quite similar. I'm not sure if both were necessary in the palette. Then we have the shade Serenity, which is described as a pastel mint matte. Super pretty. Then we have the shade Jaded, which is described as a jade shimmer. It has like a gold flip to it. It's really, really pretty. I think this is like such a unique color. I haven't seen anything like it before. And then we have the shade Full Moon, which is described as a warm nude matte. And that is our last nude of the palette. There are three. One's deeper, one's cooler, and one's warmer. I do see that they have different undertones. I don't see the need for all three, I'll be honest. So these are the three nude shades side by side. This is the shade Good Vibes Only. This is the shade Intention, which is like almost my skin tone. And then we have the shade Full Moon. I don't know. They're all very similar. And in the last row, left to right, we have the shade Mother Earth, and this is described as a khaki shimmer. Then we have the shade Orion, or is it Orion? I'm not sure, honestly. I like Orion better, so I'm gonna go with that. And this one is described as a khaki matte. This one did swatch a little bit patchy, but that's very common for these shades, I find, especially in matte formulas. Then we have the shade Chakra, which is described as a deep nude matte. So this here is the shade Chakra, and then this here is the shade Affirmation from earlier in the palette. This one does have a little more peach, but they are pretty similar. Then we have the shade Celestial, which is described as a midnight blue matte. How gorgeous. Then we have the shade Crystal Clear, which is described as a baby blue shimmer. Then we have the shade Tourmaline or Tourmaline, which is a matte black. Tourmaline or Tourmaline, I've heard both, is a crystal or a rock crystal, I feel like sounds nicer, and it is just like a black stone. And the last shade in the palette is called Moonlit, and this one is described as a blue shimmer. So that is the last row in the palette, and let's get on to a little eye look. Okay, my friends, so it is the next day now. I put the same sweater on so that it would seem like I did this all in one take, but I didn't. It is the next day. I just got too out of breath after doing the swatches, and I got really tired. It's so weird with this virus. I didn't expect it. Like, I knew it was weird. I don't know, I've never experienced anything like it. Like, I feel okay, and then it comes in waves where I'm just like so out of breath and so tired. Like, I didn't even get congested. Like, I could breathe out of my nose the whole time. I just had a really scratchy throat, but then like me catching my breath is really quite difficult. So if I'm like huffing and puffing in your ear, I am so sorry. I know that's like my pet peeve as well, so I totally understand if you click out of this video. I don't even remember where I left off. I know I finished the swatches, and I think I compared like all of the similar colors, but I think that's all I got to. So again, here is the palette. So beautiful. I'm really inspired by it, but I'm also kind of overwhelmed. You know when you look at a palette that's like so big and you're like, holy crap, the amount of color combos I could do. Like, where do I even start? It's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I think I want to go for a pastel look because we had one day last week, or was it this week? Might have been a couple days ago. Actually, yeah, I think it was a couple days ago, where it was like 9 degrees Celsius here in Canada. And then it dropped right back down. We got a snowstorm, but that like one day of like 9 degrees, it made me so excited for spring. So I kind of want to do something pastel-y, but kind of a little different. Like, I want to keep it kind of like ethereal looking. So I think I'm actually going to do a color combo that I don't think I've ever done before. I'm going to do like purples and silvers. Pastel purples and silvers. One silver, because there's only one silver in the palette. Anyway, I'm going to talk less about what I'm actually doing and just do it. So I'm actually going to prime with something a little different today. I'm going to use my Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. I haven't used this in a really long time. I lost my e.l.f. one. I don't know what happened to it. And then like, I don't know where anything is after the wedding. I like brought a very specific bag of makeup because I didn't want to overwhelm myself on my wedding day, and I knew exactly what I was going to use because I did a bridal trial video. So if you want to see that, link in the cards up above. But I don't know where any of my concealers went, and I haven't used this one in a long time, so I went and picked it from my collection. Really old. I should probably get rid of it at some point soon. Here, I'll zoom you in a little bit. Okay, so now we're up close and personal and we can get started. Again, just gonna prep my lids using too much concealer as always. I never learn my lesson, like ever. Is anyone else super excited for spring? I literally cannot wait. It's my favorite season. It's also my birthday season. I'm a March baby. I'm an Aries. Comment your sign down below. I'd be interested to know. Because I never thought that I gravitated towards certain signs, but I totally do the more I got into astrology. Like, I have 0 Geminis in my life. Nothing against Geminis, it's just like kind of patterns that I've observed. I don't have any sign in particular that I'm like, whoa, no thanks, except for maybe Scorpio, but one of my best guy friends is Scorpio, so I can't even be sure. And since I am gonna use pastels today, I'm actually not gonna set it, which I don't usually anyway. I'm gonna go into this really light pastel purple called Ethereal right here. Probably one of my favorite colors in the whole world. I think I said that yesterday when I swatched it, but it really is. But yeah, I have so much fire in my chart. Like my big three, I'm an Aries rising, I'm a Sagittarius moon, and a Libra, no, Aries sun, sorry, Sagittarius moon, and then Libra rising. And I feel like that Libra in my chart really sticks out. I'm like super indecisive and I feel like I'm kind of more airy than I am fiery. Don't get me wrong, I do like have some fire in me. So I'm just taking this and I'm placing it kind of above where my crease is. I'm not being particularly precise with this. Also, I have that ColourPop, what's it called? The Buzz Off collection? All that buzz? Something like that. I have that collection. If you guys want to see it in action still, let me know. I'm really behind on it, but still could be something fun, you know? And then I'm going to take this little fluffy brush. It's like a fluffy crease brush. And I'm gonna take the shade Intention, which is just like one of those matte cream shades. It's the cool toned one that seemed to match my skin tone the best. Normally I would use a translucent powder, or not translucent, normally I would use a powder foundation to set my brow bone, but since there's a cream shade here that looks like it'll match, I'll just use that. I really like Beauty Bay's formula, like their matte formula works really well for me. I don't have any of their shimmer shades though. Like the only palette I had from them was the Matte Bright 42. Up until now, so this is my first time really like testing out their shimmer colors, and so far, like just from swatches, I really enjoy them. And I'm gonna go back into that shade Ethereal and I'm just going to buff out what I put down. Then I'm taking a little bit of a more pinched crease brush. This is the Sigma Soft Shader in collaboration with Jordan Liberty. I'm going to take this slightly deeper shade called Daydreamer, and I'm just going to take that and kind of focus it on the inner and outer corner. If you can't tell, I'm gonna do a bit of a halo eye. Oh, I'm so out of breath, man. I don't know how I'm gonna go back to work. Ooh, I feel like that just added like a really bright pop and vibrancy. And then I'm gonna mix those two shades together, and I'm just going to kind of use that combination to blend things out even more up here. I'm actually gonna take that Daydreamer shade, the deeper one, and just also like just fill in the space here. Then I'm just gonna take like a small pencil brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Soulmate, which actually has a little more red to it, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it's like a more warm toned purple. This one right here, hopefully you can see. Hopefully I was in frame. Oh, I think that's gonna work. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Just like a little bit deeper, just right in the inner and outer corners. And I'm actually not going to take this color up into the crease like at all. Like I'm not going to bring it through the center. I'm just going to keep it in each corner. Yeah, I think I'll do a bit of a tacky base. I'm just gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills glitter adhesive. I don't even know if they still sell this anymore. So I'm just gonna apply the glitter adhesive to the center. And then I'm gonna take the silver shade called Confetti right here. And I'm gonna apply this with my finger, I think. This one was a really crumbly one, so I think like finger is just gonna be the way to go with this shade. Ooh. That's fun. I'm just gonna kind of use the same finger to just like soften those edges. I'm actually not gonna add anything else, like besides like liner and lashes, but as for shadow, I think that's as far as I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna try the Beauty Bay liquid liner. Oh, it's felt. Usually like brush tips. I'll try it out anyway. I think I can already tell this isn't my favorite. I just find I have wrinkly eyelids, and I find felt kind of grabs at my lids more and makes it really difficult to get a smooth line. This is definitely not the worst one I've tried, but I just prefer brush like way better right off the bat. Oh god, yeah, I really don't like this. I'm not sure if you can tell, but my liner is not smooth, and I do consider myself someone who is fairly solid at liquid eyeliner. This is the KVD tattoo liner, and I just have like, see how much easier that just glides across my lid, like it doesn't pull. So getting a smooth line is not hard at all. Yeah, I don't really like that eyeliner. Sorry, Beauty Bay. I love a lot of your stuff, but this one isn't it for me. I meant to try out the brushes and I entirely forgot. Oh, I'm such a dingbat. That's so upsetting. Okay, I'll try the brushes when I do my face makeup, I guess. Sorry guys, I completely forgot. This is what you get for filming one video in 2 days. I'm disappointed. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the other eye off camera and I'll put my foundation on and stuff, and then I will come back and we can, you know, use what's left of the brushes. Okay, so I did my foundation and I put lashes on. These are also by Beauty Bay. They are the Faux Eyelash Trio. I just used the top pair. I think the other two might be a bit too dramatic for my eye shape. These are cruelty-free and vegan, so is the eyeshadow palette, the eyeliner, and I didn't even check the brushes, but I can tell they're synthetic, but let me just double check. Yeah, synthetic bristles formulated to mimic natural hair. I'm actually gonna use my Fenty Beauty Inda Sun bronzer today. Let me see if I can, I'm gonna zoom you out a little bit. I think we don't need to be so close now. I'm still trying to use this up. It's just so hard to like get into the sides, you know? I really like the shape of this brush though, so if I do like it, I can definitely see myself picking up more for my kit. But let's try it out first. I love angled brushes that are a little smaller. I just feel like I have a lot more control. Man, my skin is so dry. That never happens. That's how you know I'm sick. I just find that this bronzer is so annoying because it's so hard to like pick up any color at all. Maybe that's a good thing because sometimes I do get carried away with the bronzer. I find this is perfect for nose contour though because it is like more subtle. Yeah, I really like that brush. That's pretty. The side of my face contour always looks way better than the other side. I don't know why that is. I think it's just my bone structure is like prettier on this side. This is my good side. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I really like this brush. I can definitely see myself picking up a bunch of these. Hopefully they sell these separately. Oh, they have numbers. This is the BB, so it stands for Beauty Bay 104. Then I'm gonna use this brush for some blushy blush. I'm going to use the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Calm My Blush. I actually used this on my wedding day. I've been really digging it. It's just like a nice mauve-y matte blush. Whenever I go cooler on the eyes, this is what I tend to reach for. And I'm going to use this larger brush that's a little bit fluffier, and I'm just gonna kind of like buff it out a little bit. I'm just gonna take this little pinched crease brush and some more of my Inda Sun bronzer. I'm just gonna give my nose like a quick nose contour. My nose a quick nose contour. Obviously, it's a nose contour if it's on your nose. There's not really a highlighter brush. I guess I could use like this larger crease brush. I'll use that since I didn't use it on my eyes. I'm gonna take my Mercier baked highlighter thing. I'm really getting to the bottom of this because I keep swirling and not a lot comes out. So that's exciting, but also kind of annoying because I don't want to buy another one. I feel like I should have gone for more of a neutral lip, but honestly, I don't care enough to change it at this point. Okay, so I tried to put my hair down a little bit. Didn't really work, I don't know. And yeah, this is the completed look. I really enjoy how it turned out. I think it's super pretty. Everything I really enjoyed except for the liquid eyeliner. The pastels in the Jade palette, I really wanted to put to the test because sometimes pastels are kind of chalky and hard to do. Same with neons, but I wasn't brave enough to mix pastels and neons today. So yeah, the pastels performed really nicely. Everything was really pigmented. Nothing was patchy, which is amazing. I was a little concerned about that shade Confetti because it didn't swatch great and it was super crumbly, but on the eyes it performed really beautifully and I'm really happy about it. I did use this shade called Milky Way. It's like that white shade that flashes pink. I used it on the inner corners and it's not a great shade, I'll be honest, but those white to pink flashy shades, they're never good. They're always chalky. That's the only shade I tried that didn't perform great, so I mean, I would still deem the palette very worth it if you like the color story. It's just that one shade is a little finicky, but that's nothing out of the ordinary when it comes to those colors that I've tried. The brushes I really enjoy, in particular this little angled guy I feel is pretty unique. I haven't tried a ton like this. All of my angled brushes are a lot larger than this, so I like that you can still, you know, get the angled aspect. Even for blush, this would be really nice. I really like angled brushes. I just feel like it fits the face better, especially in the cheek area. So yeah, I would definitely pick up a bunch for my kit. I bet you they're affordable. Let me check to see how much they are and if they even retail by themselves, because I don't think I'd buy the whole brush kit just because I have so many brushes as it is. Yeah, so the BB 104 brush, you can buy this individually and it retails for $10.50 Canadian. You really can't beat that. Oh, the lashes. I think you would have better luck with the lashes if you have bigger eyes. Again, I don't have like huge eyes, so my eyes do get overwhelmed by a big lash fairly really easily. So I think these other two styles might be too big for me, but they are really nice. They're not like plasticky feeling or anything. I think that is it for my review slash tutorial-ish. I don't know what to call this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. Please don't forget to subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's okay. I just really appreciate you being here. It helps out my channel so very much by you watching, so thank you. Please leave any video requests you may have in the comments down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!